You are what you eat. It's a timeless adage that everybody knows. It's easy to blame people for getting fat. They know what they're putting in their mouths. Or do they? For decades, the tobacco industry told consumers that what they were inhaling was not harmful, that nicotine wasn't addictive. Billions were spent on propaganda, lobbying and legal battles. Today, the world looks back in utter disbelief that they got away with it for so long. Today, massive public health campaigns means we decide to take that risk to light that cigarette, knowing that it's addictive and causes a range of cancers, knowing that what we are doing could be killing us. We know the saying, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. But what about what we eat? What about that low-fat ready meal? What about the vegan burger? What about the pasta and the shop-bought sauce you buy for a quick meal? It could be just as deadly as a diet of donuts, chips and chocolate. And you have no idea. In fact, you've probably been told the opposite. You've been turned into a junkie, as the sugar and MSG that make your food taste so good is as addictive as crack and fundamentally changes how your body works. It alters your palate and dictates your needs, while turning your digestive system into a roller coaster of insulin, driving hunger pangs and mood swings that can only be satiated by yet more food. You're subconsciously being drugged and need the fix. The safety of what we eat goes well beyond food hygiene. What you put into your body is the greatest determinant of your health. Metabolic syndrome is one of the biggest murderers on the planet, causing heart disease, diabetes and stroke. But medical research shows the problem goes even deeper. The ultra-processed food that dominates the Western diet also contributes to the soaring numbers of cancers and the explosion in dementia. Not to mention the fact that children today have some of the worst dental health in a generation. Everywhere you look, the evidence is clear. Modern illnesses seeing exponential growth are inseparable from the modern diet. Big food prospers while we deteriorate. The pandemic swept across the world and showed us how fragile our health is. Then it was realised so much of it came down to our weight. Boris Johnson, following his own brush with ICU, told the nation he was too fat. The Prime Minister, who had always flippantly mocked the nanny state, now wants intervention. Following his own brush with death, he has concluded obesity can no longer be brushed under the carpet. A lot of us want to lose weight. We want to make the change, but the change is so hard to make. But we're not being told the truth. The claims we read on packets, the conflicting messages on what's good for you and what's not. The long list of unfamiliar ingredients and chemical formulae leave a minefield almost nobody can safely navigate. The government is now exploring a range of schemes, from calorie counting apps to incentives for buying vegetables. It's ordered a report into the obesity crisis clogging up our arteries and clogging up the NHS. A report authored by the owner of a fast food chain. The food industry is marking its own homework. Big food in the UK is worth over £100 billion and is an extremely powerful voice in the corridors of power. It sits on the boards of health charities and disease research bodies. The world's most famous fast food chains sponsor the world's biggest sporting events. As the net begins to close on big food and a light is starting to shine on the critical problems created and faced by the industry, it's found a new toy to play with. When sugar was the enemy, alternatives were brought in that turned out potentially to have worse effects. When the enemy was salt, we got MSG. When the enemy was fat, we got low-fat products laced with even more sugar and salt to make them taste good. If you can't do it yourself, you can trust big food to buy an off-the-shelf solution. If you wonder why you keep hearing about veganism, well, make no mistake, it's the next perfect profit-making opportunity. But the plant-based alternatives likely contain all the old enemies, as well as new ones, while also cutting out vital vitamins and minerals. Industry is by nature sociopathic. It regards humans as potential sales, not individuals. It doesn't care about the nuances of lifestyle choices, nor complex health concerns. It needs to make a product that sells. I believe in a few decades we will look back at our century of obesity with incredulity and disgust. We will look back at food manufacturers with the same contempt and distrust as we do the cigarette companies. Today, we really need to talk about big food.